What's up, you guys? This is LCS Rants, and today I'll be giving you guys my prediction on TSM versus 100 Thieves in the losers bracket that will happen on Wednesday. For today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction on the game based on the perspective of TSM's head coach, Peter Zhang. I'm going to first break down this video into the draft phase, then I'm going to tell you guys what I think is the most important thing that TSM needs to do in order to win the game, which is to play through early games. All right, so without further ado, let's get into this video. And I'm going to start out with the drafts. So first, I'm going to start out just like how the LCS does it. I'm going to start out with bans that 100 Thieves will make against TSM. If I were 100 Thieves and I was really predicting this, I would really ban out TSM's comfort picks because from the last set we saw of TSM are really strong on their comfort picks. Bjergsen is 5-0 on the Syndra. Biofrost is 5-0 on the Rakan. Set has a really high win percentage on Broken Blade. So I'd really ban out TSM's comfort picks. And those other champions that TSM plays that are not their comfort picks, or what doesn't seem to be like their comfort picks, they don't really seem very comfortable on those champions, and their win percentage isn't very high. Now moving on to what I think 100 Thieves will pick. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to list it, you guys. I'm going to list the champions that 100 Thieves will play, and I'll give you guys my reasoning after. So for Sunday is most likely going to be playing a carry, such as like a Set, a GP, and the Ornn, and the Aatrox. Midos is most likely going to play a tank jungler, either such as like a Trundle, a Sejuani, a J4, and he might even throw out a Gragas every once in a while. Ryoma, he's most likely going to pick for comfort LeBlanc, Syndra, or Zoe. One of those three he'll most likely pick. And then Cody Sun will most likely play a late game carry. It seems like his champion pool is very big, but for the carries for now, he'll probably play like Xayah, Varus, Aphelios, as we saw in the Cloud9 game, maybe even a Kog'Maw. And with Stunt, he's most likely going to either play a hook champion or someone that is very beefy and taking, or a combination of both, such as like a Braum, a Tahm Kench, a Thresh, or a Nautilus. Okay, so those are the champions that I think the 100 Thieves will play. You guys can quote me on that video. I'm very certain that they'll play these champions, and here's why. It's based on their team dynamic. If you look on their team dynamic and how they actually play the game, Someday is their carry. Someday carries early, mid, and Cody Sun is their late game insurance. And you also have Meteos and Stunt, who are basically Cody Sun and Someday's enablers. They're usually playing a tank champion or some type of engage or peel or protective comp to ensure that Cody Sun and Someday are able to carry to their fullest potential. And then you have Ryoma. So Ryoma is a mid laner, but I feel as though he's still a rookie. He's very young. It is a big learning curve coming from Oceania to NA. And also just coming from like solo queue in general or academy into NA, it's just a massive learning curve. And I feel as though the 100 Thieves believes in Ryoma's potential but doesn't trust him with the keys to carrying the game. And I feel like that's the team dynamic of 100 Thieves right now. And you can see from week 9 all the way to Cloud9 series, they didn't really deviate too much from this theory. Someday, yes, was on a carry. And guess what? In Cloud9's game, Someday was also on a carry. Cody Sun was playing some type of late game champion, and as which he also did with Cloud9. And of course, Ryoma was on a comfort pick, and Meteos was on a tank. Stunt was also on a tank. And I think if you haven't really made major changes within that 1 week time period from week 9 to playoffs in 2 or 3 days, that's definitely not enough time for you guys to make major changes. They're probably just going to be working on perfecting their comp. So now moving on to what I think that TSM will do in the draft. So most likely TSM will go back to what they tried to do in the beginning of the split, where they tried to flex pick. If you look at TSM's match history with like Bjergsen, Kobbe, Broken Blade, and like Dardoch, they have been spamming very similar champions. So if you look back at TSM players' match history on solo queue, you can see that they've been playing very similar champions. So for example, you have Broken Blade and Bjergsen. Both of them are spamming Rumble in solo queue. So that makes me think that they're probably going to flex. You also have Set. Set can go in 3 lanes in TSM. You have Broken Blade, who is very good at Set. Dardoch's been spamming Set jungle. And you have Biofrost, who has also been spamming Set support, which has been played in the EU LCS. And they're most likely going to probably use this to their advantage in their giant champion pool that they have been working on, into flexing these champions into different lanes and trying to spice up the draft and confuse 100 Thieves. But the one thing I do have that I think is very worrying for me is that their ability to play these champions at a very high level. Yes, they can play a lot of champions, and I'm not really questioning their champion pool, but knowing and understanding how these champions like work together as a part of their team, that's what I'm worried about. All right, and most likely for bans, they're probably going to 100%, they're going to ban Aphelios if Kabe isn't ready to play Aphelios or doesn't feel comfortable playing Aphelios in the LCS or in the series, they're most likely going to ban it from Cody. They're most likely going to ban it from Cody because Aphelios is such a great late game carry, and Cody's son, as I said before, Cody's son in week 9 did carry 100 Thieves to a win over TSM, and Kabe really doesn't seem like he really wants to play Aphelios. If you look at his match history on solo queue, right after the loss to Dignitas, he was spamming those Aphelios games. And I just checked yesterday about his matchups on Aphelios, and honestly, they're not really looking that good. So I don't think he's really comfortable with playing that champion. So they're most likely going to ban him out. I think TSM is going to have the exact same game plan as 100 Thieves and Cloud9. They're going to target Cody. They're going to ban him out because honestly, Meteos, Stunt, and Ryoma aren't really carries. And I'm very confident that Broken Blade and Someday can go toe-to-toe. So the only person that they're really worried about is Cody's son and his late game carry potential. Next on the agenda is the deciding factor into how TSM will take the series and take the win over 100 Thieves. So number 1 is the early game. So TSM has a very strong early game. All right, Dardoch has a very high first blood percentage rate. And another thing, 100 Thieves, they have a very slow play style. They like to scale up. And also watching the games from like yesterday against Cloud9, Meteos has a very standard start. He's probably going to most likely play a tank champion, like I said before, which don't really have a lot of kill potential in the early game, but they do bring a lot to team fights, which I think is what 100 Thieves really want to do. TSM, they need to win early game because TSM hasn't shown me that they have the ability to make smart decisions mid to late game, or even like correct plays in the mid to late games. They've had the whole entire season to show me that they've improved on this aspect of the game, but they clearly haven't, as they really wet the bed in the last 2 weeks of the season. In the Kabe that we got this season doesn't look like the Kabe that can like really put TSM on his back the late game and really carry TSM to victory. And last but not least, Dardoch is probably going to make some boneheaded play, which is going to cost TSM the game. He's either going to go in and make a dumb engage, which he has no business in making. He's probably going to stay around and be like, oh, I can do something and start a team fight when the team fight is already lost and you should probably reset. This will most likely happen when there's a clear objective on the board, such as like a Baron or a Soul Drake or just a Drake in general, which gets 100 Thieves closer to that Soul Drake. He's probably going to die, so it's probably going to be a 4v5 with Dardoch dead. That's how TSM lost a lot of their games in week 9, and if he doesn't clean that up, that's how I see TSM losing if they don't really get a large advantage in the early games. All right, so now the next question is, how is TSM going to win early game? I predict that it will be a very topside heavy matchup. Dardoch and Meteos are probably going to most likely hover around topside and in mid lane. If you guys really go look back at the third game of Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves, you could see that Stunt and Meteos were really babysitting mid lane to prevent Ryoma from like falling behind him more, and also to prevent Niski from roaming and really causing a lot of havoc. I see this as something that 100 Thieves will probably do against TSM as well, as TSM does have a very strong mid laner in Beerson that can go toe-to-toe with anyone. Because Meteos is probably most likely going to be around mid lane, he's probably going to play towards topside, as Someday is also their early game and mid game carries. And throughout the season, TSM has been known to be a very strong topside dominant team, with Broken Blade and Beerson both being their carries on the team. Dardoch has very good synergy with Broken Blade. They've been making a lot of plays, getting a lot of first bloods, and securing many objectives together. So what this really comes down to is how TSM can really play around the top side of their map and really gain an early game advantage from that. And through that, they can make plays bot side and really snowball their team to get a victory. And that's all I have for you guys today. This is my prediction of what will happen for TSM versus 100 Thieves. If you guys agree with what I have to say, or you guys don't agree, please write a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you guys would have to say about this TSM versus 100 Thieves. I'm honestly very excited for this game because I haven't seen TSM play in a week and a half when it starts Wednesday. So it's good to get a TSM game in at least once a week. But yeah, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And also, I hope everyone is staying home and staying safe. And I'll see you guys after TSM beats 100 Thieves. Later.